Greetings to you and your viewers. In fact, after Israel admitting to the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran and their threatening of the Houthis, the Houthis actually launched missiles on Tel Aviv, which actually created some ripples. In fact, this left a lot of repercussions, negative repercussions inside Israel on the level of the security forces in Israel and on the level of the Mossad. In fact, Tel Aviv, of course, is the economic capital of Israel, and so targeting the Houthis to Tel Aviv is definitely going to make Israel incur a lot of financial losses and is going to intercept as well the air movement through the Tel Aviv airport. In fact, the Israeli army wants to strike the Houthis while the Mossad wants to strike Iran. And there are intersections between these two pillars because of the recent incidents presented by the Houthis and the Israelis, and in fact there are other international repercussions. These strikes of the Houthis in fact intercepted trade movement and led to a lot of trade and financial and economic losses for the whole world and not just the countries of the region. But it seems that until now Israel cannot limit the influence of the Houthis and what they are doing.
Why, sir, sorry to interrupt you, sir. Why can't Israel limit the Houthis?
It is very evident that we are before a ping-pong situation. Missile from Houthis, missile in return for a missile from Israel. In fact, it seems that the Houthis had specific targets to launch missiles on, but the main reason why the Israelis are not able to limit the influence and the practices of the Houthis is due to their lack of intelligence regarding their operations. And as well, the Israelis have shortage when it comes to logistical intelligence because of the distance between the two countries.
So how could these Israeli operations influence ongoing conflicts in the entire Middle East?
In fact, Iran is the only ally right now for the Houthis. And the Houthis are going to, of course, could start attacking the sea vessels in the Red Sea. And this can actually put the entire region in a predicament economically. And as well, this could hinder the trade movement of Europe because the European trade ships pass through the Red Sea. And so this is something that is definitely going to impact the economic situation of the entire region and the world at large negatively. We have as well seen how Britain and the United States, how they stroke Houthis, the Houthis as well in the same regard. And it seems that Britain and the United States have not been able to limit the attacks of the Houthis.
Okay, sir, what are the potential in international responses, of course, taking from your words, sir, and commenting on what you said, on the response to the Israeli military actions in Yemen, as long as it is going to be a conflict that is going to be negative on the entire world economically, sir? So even if Israel, from my own point of view or from your own point of view, is counting or debating on the U.S.-elect President Donald Trump, who is going to be inaugurated on the 20th of January, sir, why is Israel escalating?
In fact, Iran only has one active arm right now, which is the Houthis. And so it is trying to mobilize the Houthis all the time. In fact, it does seem that the Israelis are counting on President Donald Trump, as you're saying, to actually sort out their different subjects and their different pending issues. But in fact, the last word in Yemen is actually left to Iran. It is Iran that leads the Houthis and directs the entire scene on the ground. And so the Israelis are definitely counting on Donald Trump to limit the offenses of the attacks of the Houthis. But there is a strategic depth to the Houthis that actually grants them an ability to maneuver, because the Yemen extends over long distances. And so the strategic dimension or depth of the Houthis is quite difficult to control by Israel.
So, sir, I just want to ask you a question here in this context. Then sir, Iran is not weakened, or is it weakened and backed by the Houthis at this point? Not the Houthis, sir, not the Houthis. Iran is not weakened by Israel and is now counting on the Houthis.
Yes,
thank you.
What you're saying is so correct. After Iran has lost its allies in Syria and Lebanon, it only has one card, which is the Houthis, to count on.
And she's playing with this card,
Yes.
and Iran is playing with this card, sir, now. Okay. Sir, could the recent airstrikes on Yemen be a part of Israel's broader strategy in the region?
Yes, this is exactly what's happening. And, weakening the Houthis equals weakening Iran, and weakening Iran equals weakening the Houthis. And so Israel is trying to target the weaker party, which is the Houthis, because, they own some missiles, they own some arms that can, of course, target Tel Aviv. And so they want to weaken the Houthis in order for them to simultaneously weaken Iran. This is exactly what they are doing right now.
So what are the possible military and diplomatic repercussions for Israel following its strikes on Yemen?
In my own calibration, I think there will be some movement in the region. And I think the United States could actually take part in the situation, or the United Kingdom as well could take part in this scene, or actually as well Egypt as well, or Saudi Arabia could as well.
What will Egypt and Saudi Arabia do exactly, sir?
Egypt Yes, Egypt and Saudi Arabia could intervene as well in this scene diplomatically, because their economic interests are at stake as well because of what the Houthis are doing in the Red Sea. And definitely the Houthis are going to witness some intervention, as I'm saying, or the conflict is going to witness some intervention from these actors.
Yes, Egypt and the United States, Egypt and is going to be part of this to reach a ceasefire and to make negotiations to make it a better situation. Could the attacks on Yemen lead to a renewed flare-up on the Gaza Strip and Lebanon front, sir? Of course, after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced this morning that the 60-day ceasefire will not be 60 days, and defying everyone internationally.
In my opinion, the Gaza situation is still nebulous, because there are a lot of intersections and contradictions at play in the Gaza Strip. Today, they agree on something, the parties agree on something. Tomorrow, something else happens. And so the Israelis keep on stating something, Hamas keeps on stating something different. And so, regarding the withdrawal of Israel, in fact, a clear agreement has not been taken, a clear decision has not been taken by Israel yet. You know, the withdrawal from Rafah, for instance, means that Hamas is going to go back to restore its arms smuggling operations. And so Israel does not want to withdraw completely from Rafah, or maybe it will actually minimize its presence. And as well, Israel might minimize its presence in some other cities, but I don't think that Israel is going to withdraw completely from any of these regions in Palestine.
Sir, how might Israel's actions in Yemen affect its relationships with Arab nations in the region? I think it's already affected, sir.
In fact, Israel has some strained relations with, of course, there are different strained relations between Israel and some Arab countries in the region, even with Yemen, because practically speaking, and as we have said, what's happening in Yemen is going to or has negatively impacted the economic stature of many countries in the region and in the world at large. In fact, this is once more a nebulous point that we cannot determine for sure what's going to happen next within the framework of this specific question.